Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Trading Academy. I'm your host, Josh Lilquist, having a good time in studio with my good friend and good pal, Mr. Al Connickson, dropping some bombs on the financial markets. And finally, as I mentioned on the first segment, stocks have hit all-time highs as of the time of the show. The headline I got from Market Watch is the Dow Jones hits 40,000 for the first time ever. So that's just another great opportunity for investors that are long the market, especially in the Dow Jones. Great opportunities, but also we're going to continue to discuss in this next segment opportunities with those retirement accounts, so you don't have to feel like you're just buying high with the hope to buy or with the hope to sell higher. We have investing classes that we host all across the metro where we kind of discuss more in detail some of the things that we're talking about here on the show. Locally here in Bloomington, we also have classes in Maple Grove, Edina, Wayzata, Blaine, all across the metro, coming into your backyard to teach you about the financial markets. Simply just text the word investing to the number 210. That's for 2 seats, one for you and one for a friend. Text investing to the number 210. When you do that, you're going to get a text right back with a link to our landing page. Once you click that link, it will bring you to our landing page with all the different dates and times. You can pick your own date and time. We have these classes during the week and the weekend, also in the evenings. So pretty much anybody can attend. We all also appreciate our subscribers and our followers on the podcast. That's Investing and Trading Live, wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. So Al, in this next segment here, with markets at all-time highs, we have a lot of people that are planning to retire over the next, I'd say, 5 to 10 years, and they're starting to think about it. And that's kind of the crazy thought is, people start to think about retirement near retirement. Now, obviously, the best time to think about retirement is when you're 20, 22 years old and just starting your career. You should be starting these investments and learning the skills to build different accounts. But you know what? The reality is I'd say probably 95% of people don't think of it until they're in their 50s. So since we're at that, let's talk about opportunities with these markets at all-time highs. With the Dow hitting 40,000, looking at the S&P 500, 5,317.20, depending on when you look at it. Obviously an all-time high. The NASDAQ, 18,630-ish. So people don't just want to buy for no particular reason. Unfortunately, that's how they do that because they don't know any better. But with markets at all-time highs, let's just say somebody has some retirement account, say in an IRA, we'll say 50, 100 grand, maybe 500 grand, a couple million, doesn't matter what it is. What are some of the opportunities they can use? Let's just say if this market just chugs along slowly, but the rate of return isn't a whole lot. Let's say the market moves over the next 5 years 10%, which is a possibility. Most people are like, heck no, it's been going up higher than that. It's going to go 50, 60, 80, 100%. That's also possible. But what are some ways to maximize the efficiency of those dollars that they have?
The pros use assets that really maximize the power, let's call it the power of their investment dollars. It would be, if you owned a business and you had employees and you had one employee that came in every day and just went over the corner, laid down and slept, that person wouldn't be very productive.
I think everybody knows a coworker that does exactly that.
There's at least one like that probably in every company. At least somebody that doesn't pull their weight. So, and you probably get rid of that person. If you have your investment dollars, look at each dollar as an employee. How do you get the greatest productivity out of that dollar? How does that dollar provide the greatest profit for you? And if you're just using something that has virtually no leverage, like if you buy something for $1 and you control $1's worth of something, there's no leverage there. You can open a margin account and the broker will give you 2-to-1, which is some leverage, but there are assets that have leverage that's 10 times, 20 times, 50 times, maybe 100 times the value of that dollar. So you don't have to take a large amount of money.
But here's the thing there, just to comment on that, Al, is that's important to be able to utilize, because if somebody is short on retirement, they don't have enough, you're going to want to use leverage to get more efficiency, right?
Exactly. And the problem is that most people that don't understand those assets just take on greater risk in the stock market. Because if you go into retirement and you realize, hey, I've got 20, 30, maybe 40 years ahead of me, and I only have enough money to last me maybe 10 years, that's where fear really takes over there, and you start to do risky things.
Then the whole problem is they work longer too, because they have to.
Maybe they don't retire. Well, absolutely. There's a number of people that aren't retiring now. There's a number of people that are coming out of retirement. In a study by Natixis Investments, managers showed that 58% of high net worth individuals have said that they accept that they'll have to keep working longer, and then 36% of them said that retirement won't even be an option for them. That's really huge, and we're talking about people that are millionaires that have that feeling. And here's what you don't want to have happen. You don't want to end up watching your money, let me ask you this. Here's a question. Are you watching your money grow, or are you just wondering where it went? If you don't control your money, the lack of it is going to control you forever. And that's what is happening with a lot of people in retirement. The advice that you have been given, the strategies that have been used for years, decades, which are really kind of outdated, that's what most people are still using. And they're using that buy and hold strategy where you put together a mutual fund portfolio or a stock portfolio. Well, that ties up a huge amount of money, and you can't predict long-term movements in the market or in assets. I mean, you can't predict what the earnings are going to be. You can't predict negative events like situations we have going on now with the war in Israel, the war in Ukraine. There could be any number of things that come out of left field, so to speak, and that we're not prepared for. You always have to make sure that your assets are protected, especially when you go into retirement. But when you're in retirement, I think one of the concerns is that whatever amount of money you have, you don't feel you want to take a lot of that and put it into anything that could have some sort of risk. With the leveraged assets we're talking about, and we're talking about the options market, the futures market, the foreign exchange market, you can take a small amount of money. You don't have to use a large amount of your money. Maybe you have a large amount in some sort of a fixed income vehicle or something that you feel is very safe, very little and maybe no risk. Well, you can have a small amount of money because, to be honest with you, to make it through the years we have in retirement now ahead of us, you have to be involved in the financial markets. You have to have some activity in whether it's the stock market, the futures, forex, or options market. And Larry Fink, the head of BlackRock, he has really been pounding the table recently about how bad this retirement crisis is. And his comments have been, we've done a great job of increasing our lifespan, but have done very little to nothing to be able to help people have the money to enjoy those years. So you can do that. These assets, and when you hear the word option, when you hear the word futures or forex, don't be concerned about that. I think all of a sudden a lot of fear comes in because people just don't know them. It's just the fact that you don't understand them. That's the problem. What we do is we teach you how to use those assets very much like you would invest in a stock or a mutual fund, but with much greater leverage. And also with a lot of those assets, people think they're risky, but you actually can have a much greater control over risk using those assets properly.
Yeah, I think the challenge, Al, with a lot of people is the mindset of, I'll just get at it later. I'll get at it when I have more time. Well, some of you probably shouldn't even be eating green bananas anymore. So now is the time to build those accounts. And the great thing about the markets is it's never too late. If you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, or even 80s, it's not too late because you still have time to have a better situation, whether it's having flexibility of time, being able to help the kids or the grandkids out or leaving a legacy for them at one point. There's different goals that people have. Why not shoot for those goals? Why not shoot for the stars? Why don't go and get those? Go and obtain those goals, but you got to put a little effort into it. Sometimes that first step is the toughest step. And you look at anything, the first step to get started is always the toughest because you're always thinking, well, what if this, what if that? Well, what if you did nothing and then nothing will change? So we have these investing classes. Hopefully we can inspire you just to maybe just think a little bit different, to do things that you've never done before, that hopefully at one point can get you the things that you've never had. Now, these investing classes, yeah, they're 2 hours. Taking that step to take 2 hours out of your day, yeah, I get it. You know, people are busy, but let's be real. Not everybody's that darn busy. So come into these classes, and we'll show you kind of the different strategies. You can make your own decision if the market is even for you. Wouldn't it be helpful to just understand and just know if it is for you? Text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats for a free investing class locally here in the metro area. That's 2 seats, one for you and one for a friend. We go through options, stocks, income strategies, retirement strategies, and how to make smart investing decisions within your accounts. Simply just text the word investing to the number 210-210 right now for 2 seats. Al, we got one more segment to go here on the show. It's been a great show. I want to get into kind of what investing and trading actually looks like versus what people think it looks like. This is Josh and Al, Investing and Trading Live. We will be right back.